Hello or welcome back to my channel. Back after a week off. It's been really hectic. I was at the Yorkshire Show for 4 days and I thought, you know what? I'm just not going to go on my phone. I'm not going to worry about filming stuff. I'm just going to enjoy it, and so therefore no video last week. But thanks for coming back again to watch. I have just been walking around the weaned lambs and cull ewes. I've just found this, which is quite interesting. It is a lamb's little horn, which he's knocked off on the feeder. Just been to find him and check him. He has a little bit of dried blood on his forehead, but he's grazing away happily. Looks completely normal, so I'm not worried about him. If it looked bad or if there was a lot of bleeding, usually they're fine. I might have considered bringing them up, blue spray, see if it needed anything else, but he's absolutely fine. But I thought it's quite interesting to see kind of inside the horn, if you can see that, and see how it's attached. So they don't really look like they're attached by much, to be honest. And I guess it's quite interesting as to why some people don't like breeds with horns. You have the chance of knocking them off. Weather-wise, we are in a very unsettled period at the moment. Quite hot and muggy at the moment. We're getting a few showers every day, some of them heavy, some of them light, but enough to make it too wet for us to go combining. Last week we had some testing, the week before the Yorkshire Show, we had some barley testing at around 13.5%. We're looking for a moisture of 15%, so definitely dry enough, but we didn't want to have the straw down in all the showery weather. The straw was still probably a bit green, not so even, so we didn't want to be chasing that in the rain to bale it up. We're not pushed, we weren't desperate to get that in, so we've left it, and yeah, now we're in this unsettled period. I feel like that's what we're getting at the moment, a kind of no rain period, then it's showery and rainy, so let's just hope this stops in time for us to get cutting. Farming's a weird one in that you can often be looking at what people, farmers down the road are doing, or what date we'd started combining last year, but ultimately you've just got to work to the season and the year and the weather that you've got. So yeah, this time last year we were well underway with harvest. Very different now. We're different to people in the area and down south. I've seen quite a lot of people cutting, but you can't rush these things, particularly at the start. We're not desperate now. I know that some people have to cut because, for example, they need the grain for their animal feed or things like that. But yeah, when we're not pushed, we're trying not to rush into it, but easier said than done sometimes when you want to get cracking. Well, we had plenty of rain yesterday, plenty of rain overnight. I haven't had a chance to check the rain gauge, but there's certainly lots of puddles on the road, which means that, we're on the way to Driffield Show and I'm speaking at their Next Generation breakfast. Makes us feel slightly less guilty that we're not missing too much work, and we certainly wouldn't be getting the combine out today. So I have finished the talk alongside Charlie Beat as well. You might see her on Instagram. I think it went down really, really well actually. We had some really good questions at the end in terms of dealing with trolls and people who are maybe have more of an anti-farming perspective. Also managing time on social media. Also managing posts which have a reach which you never expected them to get. So I think a really successful talk, and one thing that I think is really great that the Driffield Ag Society are doing a specific next generation kind of group, which is, it's not just about talks where you can learn stuff, there's a social element as well. So really fantastic day, having a look around some of the machinery now, bumped into a few people who we work with or deal with on the farm. All in all, I think it's a fantastic show, and to get all of this stuff here for just a one-day show is, fantastic. We are here at the farm and all set up, ready to do the AHDB live stream from the farm. We're talking all about exports, a really interesting topic, and To be honest, I did not know what went on in the background in terms of strategy, data, opening up new markets, the importance of exports, obviously in lifting our domestic price, the value of the fifth quarter, so offal, which obviously doesn't really have a market in this country. So I think it should be a very, very good one. Hopefully I'll be streaming it live on my Instagram, so if you want to catch up on the full thing, you'll be able to head over to my Instagram page and it will be on there. But we're just praying for no rain. We do have the marquee little tent thing set up just in case. Today's next job is footbathing the sheep. Now, we've had this morning at the farm another AHDB things. We had the live stream last night, and then this morning Lizzie's been here as well, and we recorded an agri leader kind of podcast webinar talking about the next generation, talking about the work that Lizzie and I do. So that should be available to catch up on when this video goes out. But yeah, it's back to farm work now. We haven't footbathed the sheep using our new handling system yet, so maybe slightly trial and error, but we'll see. We're going to bring them from up there and then through the race here, and then they come through this little trough behind me. Currently it's just got water in, but we put a product called formalin in, well used across the industry for kind of treating and preventing foot problems. So it is quite it's a bit of a nasty product if we got it on our skin. So with us having the kind of fixed race bit here, so the closest we'll be getting is here. So then they come through this bit and then into the footbath. So if we're pushing from here, we are distancing ourselves from any splashes of the formalin as well, which is really important. As I said, we don't want it on our skin, but it's well used, tried and tested, and a successful product for sheep's feet. Here we go. So I'll come into this, we'll push them here, push them into, this is like the static fixed bit of race, push them into the little trough there, and then they will be coming out at this end here. And the really important thing is where they go after they've been in here. We'll be holding them on this area of concrete in here. Really important for it to dry, for the formalin on their feet to dry off. If we turn them straight back out to the grass, it would kind of all wear off, or if it was raining. So really important what you do afterwards, otherwise it's a waste of time. A bit like dipping as well, so if it wasn't allowed to dry, it wouldn't be as effective. Girls are in behind me and ready to come through the footpath. We've just finished footbathing and it's just starting to rain again, but that is why it's so important to have them that time in the dry, hard standing afterwards, to let the footbath solution basically soak in and do its job. If we'd let them straight off and it had started raining, we would have let them stand inside for a bit. Just as I said, you don't want to waste your time and waste the product as well. But I'm not going to lie, the weather was looking actually quite good. It was quite warm. But now we've got rain again and we just keep getting put back on starting harvest. We haven't got the combine out at all. So there's definitely some itchy feet here for sure. This afternoon's job is going to be pulling out George the teaser tuck to put in with the ewes. So I've just brought down a few hurdles from the portyard down to the field, and yeah, hopefully this will be easy because George is quite wick, so we'll see if this is successful. Is this going to work? Using this bit as a funnel and push them into there. We'll see. Slightly moved the car, it wasn't quite working as a funnel, and we've just got them penned up here. So we've got to get George, which is this one, some of you might remember him, out through here and into the ewes who are in that field. So we'll see how this goes. I should have maybe put my phone out to film because that was just seamless. We just opened up, had them penned up obviously, opened up the gate into the next field and just kind of walked them around in a circle really, really slowly and managed just to shed him out. It was simple. So just walking him up to the ewes now, and yeah, hopefully he'll be doing his job very soon. Here we are, George is just in the middle of those ewes there, all quite interested in him, seeing what it's all about. It's an extremely miserable Sunday here. We absolutely should be cracking on with the combine, but we're not. It is still in the shed. So instead we have, well, I have to say my dad has gathered these bits. I can't take any credit for it. We are entering the farm produce at our local show, the Aldeburgh and Boroughbridge show. Now, farm produce there is, well, I think it's a really, really good class because the public can see up close when they go into the marquee some of the crops and I guess get a feel for what they're like close up in the ground, as it were, before they're harvested. So I'll show you what we've got so far. When we enter the crops into the farm produce, we take off the leaf, we cut them, and then we also tie them together. So you're kind of presenting them in the best way. So we have winter barley, winter wheat, and spring barley. And we'll be going to collect fodder beet and oilseed rape. There's a few other classes such as a small bale of hay, combined 2023 barley, beans I think, but obviously we can't enter any of those. We don't grow beans, we don't make small bale hay, and we haven't got the combine out. In previous years, we used to enter this, well, a lot, and we actually won the trophy for it. Which is obviously a very, very, well, it's a nice thing to do, nice to have your name on it. We haven't been so good at entering the competition in recent years, in the last few years, just been really busy and things haven't quite stacked up. But as I said, with the rain, we've had time to go out and gather the crops. If you look closely on some of this wheat, you can see these black bits. Now that is fusarium, and simply the wet weather is causing disease. This will have a big impact on yield and quality. So whilst I've seen that some people are cracking on with harvest pretty much as normal, if you're having the wet weather that we're having, and I did do an Instagram story on this, and over 50% of people who replied, which don't get me wrong is not all farmers, the combine was still in the shed. So actually it looks like a lot of people will be affected by this wet weather. Yields definitely, quality affected too. So sometimes it's easy to see in the farming press of record yields and a fantastic start to harvest, but I definitely don't think this is the same across the country, and certainly not up here across Yorkshire. Here are our cereals entries, trimmed. We tie them up. So winter barley, winter wheat, spring barley. Not sure if we'll win any prizes, don't know how many entries there are, but it's good if we can to support the local show. Oilseed rape gathered. Now this is 3 stems of oilseed rape. So you can see how much they've branched out in here. And for us, that's a really important thing when we're growing rape. We don't sow it that thick because we want to try and encourage this branching out. And we do get it. We get these strong plants, a lot of kind of limbs coming off them. This is an oilseed rape seed there. So you can see in my hand, it's absolutely tiny. It's a browny colour at the moment. It's on its way to being dry, ready for harvesting. It'll be black when it's completely ready. But amazing that one seed like that can create this root structure and this branching all into that. We've got a couple of fields of fodder beet that we can choose from. So just having a quick wander in this one, see what we can find. With the fodder beet, we obviously want a big root the bulb bit, which is in the ground. But also at this stage, we like to look for really big, healthy green leaves, because that means that this crop's got a few months more of growing to do at this stage. But if it's got those big leaves, that's its capacity to grow and put more size into the root later down the line. So if you don't have the big bulbs at the moment, it's not necessarily the end of the world, because there's growing to do. Just come back to the show. All the judging's been done, and really pleased with how we've done. I'll show you. We got a first prize with the oilseed rape. As you can see, ours is genuinely massive, really branched out compared to the other entries. So hopefully that was a nice clear winner, but first prize with the oilseed rape. We didn't get anything with the winter wheat or the spring barley, unfortunately, but we did get a third prize with the winter barley, and our fodder beet won first prize, which again, very pleased. It's been a really good turnout of sheep at the show. Some have gone home now, but look how chilled these ones are. Border Leicesters. Border Leicester is the breed that we have at home, crossed with a Cheviot. But all sorts of breeds, and a really, really good turnout, considering that it is a little local show. Monday has rolled round again, and we've just been totting up how much rain we've had. We've had well over 50 mil in the last week, so hence why no combines are rolling, and probably won't be doing for a little while. It's another very showery week, so really frustrating here. Hopefully in the next video next week I might be able to bring you some good news, but it's looking unlikely when it comes to combining. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please do like and subscribe to my channel.